There was the 2016 election, yes, and the general state of the world, and the fact that I had dramatically decreased my work as a photographer, thinking I am nearly 70 years old and it's time for me to enjoy my life. But none of this explains the way I felt. I felt like a stuffed animal that had lost its stuffing. I spent my time tending to other closets of lesser importance, taking out all the contained objects and sorting them into categories according to their use and usefulness to me. As I worked, I listened to the news, or sometimes, the only art I could tolerate, to musicals. I was especially partial to Sondheim, particularly Into the Woods, and particularly numbers that featured the witch. Careful before you say, "Listen to me," I would sing along with her. Children will listen. Next, I put all the useless to me things into boxes and called the thrift store on the avenue to send someone to pick them up. Finally, I bought new things from the Everything website in order to absorb the space freed up by the things I'd just gotten rid of. This was an important step, and a step that I savored, the only thing that brought me joy. In the story of An Object and Me, no time was ever so good as when its digital likeness and that of many others of great similarity were lined up vertically and auditioning to be mine. I scrolled slowly, considering. I took great pains to select the exact right scrubby sponge, the exact right set of black shoelaces, the perfect knit winter hat. I read all the reviews. When the new things were delivered, the device my friend's kid had set up in my kitchen made an ominous sound, which was really just the sound of another living person doing a job they were underpaid to perform, a person I would never speak to or meet. After that sound was another, the real sound of a truck or van starting up again and driving away down my street toward the avenue. It was in this manner, too, that I made groceries appear at my door. I still live on this same street, a two-way where the cars go too fast despite all the stop signs, and the houses are attached in rows with porches you can look down. I live in West Philadelphia, a shtetl most people have only heard of in the context of its cameo in the credits of a TV show starring Will Smith, or because it contains the campus of an Ivy League university with a destructive hunger for real estate. I have lived here for much too long. So long that to fetch a half-gallon of milk or go to the bank involves 5 to 7 emotionally gutting interactions. Normally I can handle this, but that season I just couldn't. It wasn't just that I was afraid to run into people I used to know, but rather that I felt the neighborhood to be a graveyard of my past lives. Here, the fancy yoga studio, which used to be a camera store where I'd chat with the scruffy owner about lenses and buy film when I was still working as a photographer. Here, the house that once belonged to a colleague of the Housemates in the English department at the university, a woman with excellent taste in sweaters and ceramics, and who, at parties, would serve cheddar cheese and rosemary crackers on the most beautiful rectangular trays. Everyone at those parties knew that the housemate and I were an item, but that didn't stop them from looking at us out of the sides of their eyes, whether because we were lesbians or because she was a professor, though not mine, and I a graduate student, I can't say. We were exactly the same age, anyway. She had been one of those wonderkins who'd graduated high school at 15. "Let's give them something to look at," the housemate would say, holding up a loaded cracker and awaiting the opening of my mouth. There, the building containing the first apartment the housemaid and I ever shared. There, the fancy grocery store, which used to be a soul food restaurant, where the housemate and I would go for long conversations about projects we wanted to do together. There was a black dog with a flat snout who liked to lie on its checked floor in slants of sun. We could pick a little operation, nothing but a Ferris wheel and a funnel cake stand that moves from town to town, and follow them, she said to me in that restaurant once while leaning down to pet the dog. She had an idea which was new then but is old now, which was to record people's voices speaking and have that be the result of the work instead of a book. The tapes she made on those trips are still in my office closet to this day. And so on. It's funny in a non-ha-ha kind of way, considering everything that came after, how the pandemic